He's Jamie Hunt.
He's Pat Heath, and today we're going to get under the hood of Slayer's iconic writing style. We hear with Slayer lots of high gain, intense, angry music, but they're also really good at atmosphere and drama. So one way they do that, they lower the gain a little bit and outline chords and arpeggiate and create phrases in that sense. So we're going to start by playing an A power chord, so open second fret on the fourth string, second fret on the third string, and create melodies around that. So we start by arpeggiating those notes, repeat the note on the fourth and third string, and then on the same two strings, fourth and third string, create a power chord from the first fret, first and third fret, and there's our little variation to the melody. What's important, leave your fifth string, your A note, ringing against all of that, because we want to get that dissonance tension as the music unfolds. So, loads of drama there. Slight variation. We're going to play open on the fifth string, first fret on the fourth string, open third string, and then almost play the same thing. We'll play the first two notes again, and then I play the first fret, and the first string is my variation. So there's my little theme. Back to the start.
I mean, very prominent in tracks like Seasons in the Abyss.
Yeah, absolutely.
That amazing beginning.
Yeah, for sure.
And it sounds like an ending at the beginning of the song, and then it just goes off on one. Absolutely amazing. So that drama you're talking about, you're playing this amazing LTD Gary Holt
GX 600, yeah.
Right, okay.
Absolutely.
So obviously big thick body, heavy sound. How do you get a cleaner sound?
Yeah, obviously you can change the channel on your amp and lower the gain from there, but often when you're playing a show or recording, you want to have things change from the guitar itself. So the best way to do that, when you've got your full gain sound with your volume on full on the guitar, back that off a little bit, keep rolling it back until it cleans up. And what's interesting is you get a cleaner sound, but there's still, if you get the sweet spot, enough volume to play a part without it disappearing. Nice. But because it's a little sizzly with the gain, it's really exciting when you bring it back in and go for it on the next
So
section.
that essentially is the gain control rather than a...
Yeah, pretty much.
Like,
and then the audience always know that if you hear that clean sound and you hear that volume go up, it's all about to kick off, right?
Right?
Yeah, so you've got that in the power of your hand just from your volume control. So explore those tones that you get as well, because that's a wicked thing to have at your disposal.
So you gave me that idea, and obviously I'm playing this Jeff Hanneman 600 LTD, which is a total shred machine, by the way. What I decided to do was literally power chords, and I'm playing A to sharpen it to A sharp or B flat, and then A, to A flat. And I hasten to add, we're actually, although Slayer did tune down, we're playing in concert pitch for this, just because.
Because more people can get involved.
More people can
rather
get
than having to
involved
detune your guitar and all the rest of it.
Cool.
Keep it in E.
So we are in that tuning. But I decided to just, the bass was just thundering along on A. And I decided to create this.
If I play that A note against it.
And although really there's everything wrong with that, it sounds amazing and it's very cool and very Slayer.
Slayer aren't afraid to use dissonance to great effect, and that's a really good example of how that might play out.
So the main riff, when you gave me this to look at, I mean, straight away I was going, this feels like a War Ensemble or one of those amazing sort of early 90s Slayer records. So what were you thinking with that?
Cool, well I'm thinking I'm going to play palm muted open E string to give it a grounding, so we give that harmonic centre, and then I'm going to play melodic notes that bounce off of that. So we're going to play the 3rd fret of the 4th string, 2nd fret of the 5th string, that's a flat 5 interval. Most other styles of music run screaming from the flat 5. In the metal genre, we embrace it at every possible opportunity we can. So here we go. Down, up, down, palm muted. Those 2 notes. We're going to use that same shape, 1 fret apart, slide it to the 6th fret and the 5th fret. We're going to use our open E notes again. 6th and 5th fret, down 1 more fret, another one, and then we're going to end by playing the 3rd fret on both the 4th and the 3rd strings, so we get a perfect 4th interval. It kind of resolves it a little bit. So if I play that together, then I almost repeat the same thing again. I'm going to play a B flat power chord there, so it's the 1st fret of the 5th string, 3rd fret on the 4th and 3rd string. There's our variation.
Again, that's another flat 5 going back to the to the E string.
Back to the E, So
I'm doubling that. I'm basically I'm doing the classic, play the same riff left and right, and if you want to record your own music and get it to sound very metal, you record the same riff and double it and put one in the left speaker, one in the right speaker, and that's how these records were made from, well, really, 70s onwards, wasn't it, really? So it's basically that case doubling, that gives the big metal sound. And that's what we did. Should we play that riff together and see what it sounds like? Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Cool.
And then it all cycles around again. So to give it some variety and to keep things moving, I then shift a 4th higher on my fretted note. So I still play that open E note, but I'm going to jump up several frets. So I'm going to play the same phrase, exactly the same really, but using the 8th fret as my starting point. So if I play the whole thing, start from that place. So my end fret is 8 and 8. Repeat all again. And I play the same power chord as Pat and what we were doing here, but just on the lower strings. So 6th fret, 8th fret, 8th fret. Okay. B flat.
1, 2, 3, 4. After that, there's a slight variation on that riff, and what happens is it's the same front end, and then you've introduced this kind of ascending part, which is almost kind of Eastern sounding. That's what I'm playing. So it's muted, but it's fret 2, 3, and then on the A string 2, 3, and then on the D string the same. And then we're playing like a 2, 3, 2, 0. Back on this chord at the 1st fret on the D string. So, and it's quite quick. So you've got to. It's that furious, ferocious picking that they do. So, should we try that whole riff together?
Yeah, I'm harmonising that.
1, 2, 3, 4. So we got a verse riff.
Yeah.
Right, then this is furious. This took us a little while to nail down, but I think we got it quite tight.
Yeah, and I guess when I was putting this together, I was referencing tracks like Rain in Blood.
Yeah.
This is like your classic harmony between the two guitars.
Yeah.
There's harmony already, but yeah, we're continuing it even further here. So we start with an A power chord this time, and that's the rhythm. Down, let it sustain, and then down, 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 palm muted. In fact, you play the first of that sequence unmuted and the last one. So you get that shape to it. And then I've got this little phrase, little melody I put at the end of that. So I'm playing 5th fret on the 3rd string, over to the 6th fret on the 4th, 4th fret on the 3rd string, back to the 5th fret. So I get. And I'm going to go back to that rhythm but on the A string, and then I play another little chromatic sequence. So that's the 4th fret on the 3rd string, then 5, 4, 3 on the 4th string. So then I repeat that first melody again, then I get this first little turnaround where I'm going to play 4th fret on the 3rd string, 5th fret on the 4th string, move that all down 1 fret, and then I play very Slayer chromatic movement. So that's 4th fret on the 3rd string to the 5th fret, and then the opposite of that on the 2nd string, 5th down to 4th. So if I play that all together, so then I play the whole thing again. And I've got a new phrase ending, that's 4 to 3 on the 3rd string, and then 5 to 4 on the 4th string, back to the 5th fret, over to the 6th fret on the 3rd string, and then on the 4th string, 2 to 5. So that all together. So it's intervallic, it's chromatic, it's
diminished.
kind of disgusting, diminished, lots of diminished flavours in there.
And I hasten to add, basically I'm playing the same thing, but it's the string below. The only difference is on the G string, I'm playing a slide from 4 to 3, whereas we have to compensate for the B string because it's a semitone lower. So you're playing and I'm playing, which is the same thing in terms of intervals.
Yeah, just balancing it with the tuning.
It's basically the same riff, and I think this is kind of crucial to the sound, or what we can hear anyway, in terms of what reproducing bands like this is. It's not going, well, they do this and they do that. It's classic sounds. They split parts, a string across or a fourth above, and that's part of the sound of those albums that they made over the years, and they maintain the harmonies and the two guitar split. So
the cool thing that works for Slayer taking that approach is that when you play a fixed interval for a whole phrase, it will not stay, the two guitars will not stay in the same key. You're going to venture out of the key, and in lots of situations that's a no-no because you don't want to clash harmonically with what the key's asking of you. But in Slayer stuff where you're inviting those kind of exits from the scale and notes that shouldn't exist in the phrasing, you kind of venture into that deliberately and consciously. You are using dissonances and intervallic options that aren't normally there, and in the grand scheme of Slayer's sound, that totally works. It's tension, it's anger, it's frustration, and in a musical statement, it totally works.
It's referred to often as parallel harmony rather than diatonic harmony, where you play different intervals but they belong to the key, and that's generally a lot more pleasant sounding. But we don't want pleasant. Yeah, we're not doing pleasant today.
Consciously not being pleasant with our parts here. 2, 3, 4.
Very dark.
Yeah, very angry, very aggressive, very Slayer.
The structure of this song, I mean, obviously the arrangement is drums, bass, two guitars, but the structure itself is there's three sections, isn't it? A, B, C, and then you're repeating that, but you're ending on that introduction again, that picked part, and that's 3 times. It's a middle section as well. Yeah. And I think when you put in songs together in a good structure, it's thinking about that arrangement. What was your approach to that? Did you just go with it, or did you?
I was looking for variety, and it's kind of how does one section sort of fall into the next. And when you try changing up the order of the sections that you've got, you'll get a different result each time. So it's a case of listening to what that creates, and if that feels good for you, or it feels like moving to a different point in your options with your sections makes the most sense. Try that out, because you want to repeat sections because you want your audience to recognise things and latch onto it and go, okay, that's cool, I've heard that before and now it's come back. But if it's always the same format of your 3 sections, or how many sections you're working from, it gets a bit formulaic and obvious. So kind of moving it around into different sequences is a great way to get the most mileage out of the music that you've already written, rather than needing to keep creating more and more sections. Keep your listeners with you, but also means, yeah, because it's fresh sequences, it just kind of has a different statement each time.
And just a note on technique, I think when it comes to Slayer, whether you're listening from, you know, the early albums, Show No Mercy, Hello Waits, right through to when Kerry Holt came into the band, there's a set of rules which kind of have just been maintained. And I think on the way that you approach rhythm playing with Slayer, it's a particular type of muting.
Yeah.
And it's very much to do with the bonier part of your hand here. If you're playing Anthrax, you're going to be digging in like that. But with Slayer, it tends to be a little bit more. So I can feel the string vibrating against that. It's very light muting, but.
More like a down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, different dudes approach it in different ways. They're the 2 extremes I always refer to. Is like Scotty, and he's super heavy right hand.
Yeah.
Hetfield as well, who's always downstrokes. But Slayer's, it's this alternate thing, but it's
slightly more bouncy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it's, I always think it sounds more like a wasp than a crushing sledgehammer, but equally as ferocious.
Yeah. Something I notice when I'm playing it as well is when I'm doing palm muted stuff, I'm quite lighter with the pick there, because I want to get that rhythmic control and definition of what I'm playing. And I dig in more on the melodic notes. So if I'm playing that first riff, I'm lighter because I want to get that definition and clarity on that note, but quite aggressive with those notes, and it makes them a bit more angular and pointed, like you're really making a shout and a statement at people rather than kind of mentioning something. It's a real shout. So that balance between lighter on the pick on the palm muted and then really laying in on those melodic notes that aren't muted, I think really gives it shape and statement when you're bringing these things together. Explore that, how much you pick, how much you hold back, particularly when you're muting and versus unmuted notes. Get some variety in your phrase in there.
Thanks for joining us here on ESP School of Metal Guitar.
This has been all the things that caught our ear and our attention when we listen to Slayer's back catalogue.
Yeah, you listen, you think, you create your own tracks.
But have lots of fun.
Take care.